Alright, good evening everyone. I'm just going to give it a few more minutes before we get started and let a few more people join, and then we're going to jump straight into it. So I'm just going to set up my slides now and give people a minute or so to join, and then we'll kick off. Alright guys, so I'm going to get started now. So what I've prepared for this evening is a quick walkthrough on what you need to get your website online. After that, I'm going to run through a few stats about why you should be online, what customers are doing in Australia in particular at this point in time, how many people are moving online, who's using social, and then I'm going to do a quick live demo of getting a website online in just a few minutes. So the format for today is an open Q&A. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out on the chat, and someone will get back to you and respond. I may even address it live on the screen if something comes up that you want to address. And in fact, I will pull up the live chat now. For myself, so I can just see the chat messages as they come through. Okay, and I have the chat open, so if anyone's got any questions, feel free to reach out. Apparently there's a bit of an echo, so I'm just going to try and get rid of that first. Alright, and I think we're ready to kick off now. So as I said, it's open Q&A. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out in the YouTube chat. I've got that open, and I'm checking it as we go through. Also, if you're on the meetup group, there's an ApointB meetup group. You can just jump on there and ask us some questions through that as well. So this webinar is really designed for people who are either looking to create a new professional looking website, for various reasons. It could be a new business, you're just looking for a fresh start. You could be looking to update your current website, or you're looking to upgrade the features on your website. So it could be that you want to start accepting payments for bookings, appointments. You want some smart scheduling on your website. It could also be that you just want to connect it to some social channels. So we're going to run through and talk about a few ways of doing that, and the demo at the end I'm actually going to include some, including the demo, setting up payments, bookings, appointments, ticket sales, all that kind of stuff. We'll also run through a few critical elements for what you need for your website. So what should you have ready before you jump in and start building for your own business? You also learn how to just get online really quickly. So this usually takes around probably 15 minutes on the live demo to get a professional looking website up and live and ready to accept payments. And we'll also chat a little bit about marketing your events online and how to think about that. What I wanted to start with was a few current stats in Australia around how many people are actually online, who's using what, where are people hanging out. And really what I wanted to highlight here is that the penetration of internet users in Australia is up to 88%. Most people are on the internet these days. Most people are using social media, and you can't see this other stat because my camera's in the way, but I believe it is 61%. So while there are 17 million or 69% of Aussies on social network, only about 8% of them are not using their mobile for social media. So really you want to get out there and you want to reach. I haven't well placed my camera today because it's obviously covering Australia. So what I might do is I might move this up. Have a little notepad there. There we go. We can see Australia now. So Australia actually has more mobile phone connections than we have people in the country. Most people, have a couple of different mobile phones, maybe one for business, maybe they have a tablet. And really what this highlights is how connected Australia is onto the internet. I did a talk last night, which you can check out on the ApointB YouTube page, talking a lot to small businesses about why it's important to get online. So if you really want to go and deep dive into why it's important to be online, you can go and check out that other video. There'll be a few more coming up as well. So if you subscribe and hit that little notification icon, you'll get to know when we're doing other talks around why it's important to be online. But I thought a few of these highlights that we got out of last night might be good to just start with. You can see here that most people in Australia now are using smartphones. Most people want a mobile-friendly website, and one of the things we're going to talk about today is how do you know that your website is actually mobile-friendly and that it's ready for all devices. So Google has actually started down-ranking websites if you don't have a responsive website. So this is highlighting how much time people are actually spending on the internet per day in Australia. In fact, people spend more time on the internet in Australia than they spend working. Most people on the internet, and a lot of the time people aren't exactly looking for your brand, they're looking for your services. And this kind of touches on content marketing. You really want to be putting out content that's getting in front of your potential customers all the time, not just when they're looking for your brand. Most people these days, and now we've gone into the area where we're over 50%, are actually okay with technology and okay to make deals and transactions online. People are now preferring to complete tasks digitally, and there's a good segment in that other talk on our page which really goes into the details about even the older generations are actually getting more and more comfortable. They want more chatbots, they want more integration, they want to be able to do things online. So really what you want for a nice website these days is you want to have multi-device support, which is you want to have a responsive website that works no matter what kind of device they're using. You want to have a good experience and you want to be search optimized. The other thing that Google's ranking for now is speed. So you also want to make sure that your website is fast. So I just wanted to really start with a few stats about why it's important to be online. That's where your customers are ultimately, and that's where you want to be too. You want to make sure that you're meeting them and meeting their expectations online. So I'm just going to move my cam down again. Okay, so we're getting started with our website. What do we need ready before we get started? Often I tell people, you want to kind of know about your branding. You want to know what your company name is. You might want a logo. If you don't want to go down the path of figuring that out all yourself, you can always engage someone to kind of do this pre-work. But really, before you get started on your website, you want to know what your company is called, what you look like, kind of some content prepared. I've already prepared a little bit of content for this website, which includes the title, the name, a bit of an about us, the address, and a few of the services that I'm going to be offering. Hosting is another one. So you want to know where you're going to host it, what you're going to use it on. We're going to use the ApointB platform today, which is an out-of-the-box website solution. So after a couple of clicks, your website's live, it's self-hosted. You don't really have to worry about any coding or hosting. It's just live. So for this, we've taken care of that by using an out-of-the-box package. Last is digital marketing. No one is going to come to your website as soon as you put it online. You're really going to have to start running some campaigns. And really what I was saying to some of my other clients is that you want to think about your website as almost an employee. You're spending a bit of money on this website. You want to get an ROI. You want to make sure they're making a return for you. And how you do that is through digital marketing. It's a lot cheaper than traditional marketing. It will cost you a lot less per new customer that you're getting. And it's much easier to track. So with branding, there's a few things that you want to have prepared first. You kind of want to know what your domain is and what your logo or your brand colors are looking like. You can go online and you can check different domain providers, and they will tell you whether the domain you are looking for is available or not. You can also go online and there are logo creators or outsourcing services. If you're using someone like ApointB, who you're getting to take care of everything and you're going with a package where they take care of it for you, they may come back with some drafts and say, do you like this logo? Is this what you were thinking? But it's always good to have some ideas to give to those people before you get started. Second, you want to have some content ready. You want to be looking professional, whether that's stock videos, stock images. Today I'm just going to be using some nice stock images on the website, but if you have some videos, you can actually also upload those videos onto the banner and really engage those customers when they come through to your website. The other thing that you want to have prepared is some content for some pages. So when I'm going through and putting together the pages today, I'm really just going to be throwing some content in there and just showing you really how it all comes together. But before you get started, I'd highly recommend sitting down with a Word document and going through and typing out, okay, what are the different services I'm going to offer? Really focus on the main selling points that you're trying to sell to your customers. I would traditionally try and limit myself to 3. Make 3 different buttons on the home page, and then depending on what's working for me, I will start to swap out those services that are less popular with something else, and then kind of keep on trying to see what's working for my business. So with hosting, you've got a few different ways of approaching it. You can go and pay a developer. You can either hire them on something like Upwork. You can go and engage someone privately and manage them yourself. This is usually a cheaper option than engaging an entire agency, but you have to know a little bit about technology. You have to know what to ask the person to do. You're not always guaranteed a great result either. You may end up going down this path and then coming back and having to hire an agency to fix it up anyway. You can go down the build it yourself route. Now, I would say if you're a technology hobbyist and you're really interested in building something yourself, then potentially you could look at it. But I wouldn't be running an experiment or a test for my business website. I would really want to make sure that I know what I'm doing if I'm going to be running my business site. It can get quite technical, particularly when you're looking at SEO and integrations. If you want to try your hand at building a website, I generally wouldn't advise doing that for your own website. I'd say go and have a go of creating something else and then getting a professional to do your website. And you will then be able to see why. You'll see the difference between a professionally put together website and one that you've done yourself, particularly if you're early in your development career. And the final one, an out-of-the-box solution. So this is what we're going to be using. So ApointB is a self-managed out-of-the-box website solution. You sign up, you get a website, it works, security, hosting, all that's taken care of. The design, the integrations, you can choose what you're using on it, but they're already built out of the box. You don't have to go and install plugins or write any code or do any configuration. It all kind of works out of the box, and that's what we're going to be using for our demo a little bit later. So with campaigns, like I said before, you really want to focus on those services that most of your customers are engaging you for. And how I like to think about that is, say if I'm a consulting service and the consulting service offers business consulting, you offer consulting for online sales. Really what you want to do is, if you're offering two different services, you want to be running two different campaigns online. So perhaps you have an SEO campaign which you want to run, which is search engine optimization. So you have a few pages that are attracting people for each different service. You want to be doing some blogs, some videos, you want to be doing some content marketing, and then you actually want to be paying for some leads to come through to those different services. Figure out which services work for you, which one have a higher return, and then really focus on those and see if you can swap out your lower returning campaigns with a new service line. Now, you want to have a lot of content. Traditionally, these days, people have been doing a lot of blogging, a lot of writing, but the web is kind of moving towards a lot of video services. YouTube is now the second biggest search engine, and people are preferring to have content read to them while they kind of skim through the information rather than having to read big articles. So I'm really encouraging all of our customers at the moment to kind of try and start putting videos out there, start engaging with your customers. People like to listen to someone explain things to them and have the option to actually ask some questions. And finally, you want to make sure you have a nice professional online presence. Now, this doesn't just include your website, this includes your social media as well. This should all be consistent, and your social influence will actually impact your ranking as well. So if you have everything lined up, it's going to benefit you quite a lot. So this isn't just about having a professional website which has a nice theme, which guides your customers to know what to do, but it also involves having the rest of your social media presence set up, and any other online appearances that your business make. It's having those consistent and clear. So getting online, if you're looking to code it yourself and you are that hobbyist and you kind of like the idea that I mentioned before, hey, I want to kind of give it a go myself, I would say if you have zero web development experience and you're not using an out-of-the-box solution, that it may take you between 6 to 12 months to pick up all the technologies. There's a lot there: CSS, HTML, JavaScript, and all the frameworks that go along with that. The learning curve is quite steep. Like I said, if you want to try it yourself, I would pick a hobbyist website and go and try and build that. If you're trying to focus on your business, get a professional or an out-of-the-box solution so that you can kind of tick all those boxes that you require on your business website, and then you can pick up a few things on the side on your kind of side project. Now, there are a few website frameworks out there that you can use. There's WordPress, there's a few others where you can actually go on, you can set up your own website, but this can often take about 3 to 10 weeks. These aren't exactly click and play. There's a bit more configuration involved, and you have to know a little bit about what you're doing, how to get set up, how to configure it. So I generally recommend that, or generally suggest that these probably will take between 3 to 10 weeks. So it'll take a few weeks to get set up. Website Builder is a bit faster. So here you're looking at, say, Wix or Squarespace or GoDaddy. There's a bit of configuration involved. There's a bit of drag and drop on the design front. So there's a little bit of work for you to do. And these can take a few days to get set up and online. Web generators are a bit faster, so we're actually going to use a web generator today. Now, I've said 1 to 2 hours. I'm probably going to get through this in a few minutes. It's not going to take me long. I've had a bit of experience with this web generator, so I know what I'm doing, and I've kind of already pre-prepared my content. So that takes all that into consideration, and really you can be getting online in a couple of hours. With ApointB, you can actually get one of the premium plans, and someone will set it up for you and get it all going, so you don't even have to do it yourself. Alright, so now I'm just going to jump into the live demo. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat before I get started, or even during. So I'm just going to Google, typing in ApointB. Obviously you can just jump over to ApointB.com if that's what you want to do. But if you are Googling us, I might point out that we do have a meetup group, and within that meetup group we're actually running a few demos like this. We also do talks. We've got a few talks coming up at a few different business discussion groups, so if you're interested you can join here. We've got about 460 members, so if you want to join us, hopefully you can get some more informative content out of it. Okay, so this is the ApointB homepage. You can simply just click on Start Free. Now I'm going to go log in. So I already have my username and password saved in a little notepad. So I'm just going to paste those in. Oops. Okay, so this is where you get started with your ApointB. So as you can see, we start with a bit of a blank canvas. I jumped in and just checked it was working before, but I can actually just delete that one now. As soon as you sign up, you actually get your own subdomain, and it's pretty easy to connect your own domain. If you don't know how to do it yourself, you can also just email support, let them know, hey, this is my domain, or this is the domain that I want, and they will just connect it for you. But as this is, I haven't set one up yet, I'm just going to use the Freezer subdomain that it comes with. Now I'm going to jump into a private window and just kind of keep that open. So as you can see now, we've actually going to consultingsydney.apointb.com, but there's not much information here, so we'll just go in here and we'll fix that up. Ooh, bit of a lightning out there. So I'm just going to start updating a few of the details. It's pretty easy. As I said before, I've got a little bit of information that I have prepared earlier, and I'm really just copy pasting this in. So I'm just piping all these details in, and you start to see the website actually come together. Put my address, save, I'll add a few photos. So like I said, I try and get some, where are my photos? Try and get some photos and content ready before I get started. It just makes this whole process a lot quicker. As you can see here, I'm just chucking my information that I had put together before, and it doesn't take very long at all. That's a nice one for that one. I'll add a banner photo. If you already have a Facebook page, you can actually just go create from Facebook page, and it'll import all your details from your business Facebook page. That's a much faster way if you don't want to actually sit here and enter the details. But as I'm giving a bit of a demo, I don't mind throwing all this in. I'll put a little logo in. Okay, so it's only been a couple of minutes, and we can probably jump over now and refresh this page, which is the logged out version. So this is what your customers will see. As you can see, a nice professional looking website. Can't do much at the moment, except out of the box it comes with a message functionality. So if I click on this, it'll actually go to this person's instant messaging within their website, and you can just start chatting with the business owner. Obviously, as the business owner, you can receive these messages from your customers, but this is from the customer's point of view, and this is from the business point of view. Another thing, actually, you know what? Before I start playing around with the theme, I'll add a feature. So with ApointB, out of the box, you can add one-on-one appointments or sessions, events or workshops, reoccurring events. You can even do home travel. So if you are willing to travel to people's homes, you can kind of put your parameters in there, how far you're willing to travel. You can also do online appointments, online events, and there's some promotion. So if you want some help with your marketing, there's some marketing tools in here as well. So I'm doing a consulting business. So what I might do is just set this one up. and I'm going to call it a initial business inquiry. Now this is actually one of the things that I haven't prepared a lot of content for. I've just prepared this is a nice one. So I'm actually just going to copy this information in here. Obviously, if you're setting it up for your live website, you would have already prepared some of this information. You can do hourly or you can do fixed length. So if you have a calendar and you want just people to schedule bookings into your calendar, you can set that up with an hourly booking. You can do fixed length. So if you want to actually say, well, I don't want any flexibility, I want to choose how long my sessions are for, you can go with fixed length. So hourly, minimum, maximum, $75. Maybe for the initial inquiry, I'll actually just make it free. And I will put this at the same address. Okay, so if I go back to the website from the customer's point of view and I refresh, you'll now see that I have make a booking. Where I can book for free and make an inquiry. Now if I go into here, you'll see that if I go book free consultation, there are no future events. So customers, if you go in and you haven't set up your calendar yet, they can just request a booking and you'll get a message that says, hey, someone's looking to book with you. Now if I go back to the logged in version, I'll go back to here, I will go edit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add some availability to this event. From the 14th of the 3rd to the 25th of the 4th, Monday through to Friday, and I'll just make this from 9 AM to 5 PM. I'll add, and then you can see here that your calendar fills up. Now as the bookings come in, ApointB has smart scheduling, so what you'll see, don't mind my dishwasher. So what you'll see is the bookings will actually come into your calendar and they'll get filled out. And this prevents double booking. So if you want to turn off clashing bookings, this actually will take your availability out when someone makes a booking. So it has a bit of smart scheduling in it. Now I've already gone in here and set up my payments just before. There's just a few questions around, okay, well if you are taking payments from your customers, where do you want to get paid out to, which bank account, and there's also a bit of know your customer requirements from the credit card provider. So out of the box, ApointB does take credit cards, and you can start charging for ticket sales, you can start charging for consulting, one-on-one appointments, webinars, whatever you want from those features, you can actually start charging for it immediately. And there's also some promotion links, so if you're offering coupons or something similar, you can go and manage that in here. But now that I've got this, I'll give it a refresh. Go book for free, book free consultation, and then you'll see that your calendar will show up here for your customers. So they can go in and they can kind of book, they can select a time, they can select an end time, and then they can go through. This is a free booking, so it won't require them to enter their credit card details, but if you are charging for it, then there's a step 3 is where they enter their credit card details and the payment comes through to you. I might add one more, maybe a ticket sales. So I'll add an event. So events are slightly different. I'm going to call this get to know your local business laws. And I foresee this being some kind of service where maybe tax laws, your local business tax laws. So say you are a small local consultancy and you want to offer an event, maybe it's a lead generation event, maybe you want to charge $10 a ticket, maybe you're bringing a speaker in. I'm just going to paste this in here because I haven't prepared content for this, but of course you would have prepared that yourself. Now you can set the duration. I'm going to just make this a 1-hour meeting, and I'm going to say, okay, well, I'll let 15 people come. I'll lower the price a bit to maybe $50. I'll make it an informative session. They'll get something out of it. Again, same address as before. enter your business address, and then this time I'm going to go save as draft, go in and just immediately add my availability. So this is an event, so I can make it a reoccurring event. I can say, okay, this is going to happen every Friday at 5 p.m. Maybe it's an after work thing, or I can just make it a one-off event. So I'm going to make it a one-off event. I'm going to say I want at least 1 day's notice, and I'm going to list it for Wednesday the 27th. Sounds good. I'll make it an after hours thing, so maybe I'll make it a knockoff thing, maybe charging $10. I might provide some beers, 5:30 to 6:30. Add to calendar, you'll see it down here, added OK, and that's where you can kind of delete and manage your calendar as well. I've already set up payments. If I wanted to set up my coupons, I can do that also. I'm going to go back to my ApointB. Oops, I didn't publish. And there we go. So we'll go into the customers view, refresh, and here we have our shiny new website. You can make a booking, you can buy tickets, you can actually buy multiple tickets. Now, one of the things I want to highlight here is you can go in and there's a few themes, and themes are always being added, always being updated as well. So if you want to change the look of your website, all you have to do is click here, and then if you go back in, it immediately is applied. There's no plugins, there's no waiting around. It just automatically works. So here you can see the display picture gets moved down to here. The listings look a little different. It's obviously a different color as well. And there's a few different themes you can choose from. Fractal is actually my favorite. So I'll go back in here. And you'll see that I have a nice looking blue website. Kind of matches the logo. I probably should have added a transparent background there, but that's alright because you can actually just re-upload it, remove the background. It won't actually take long at all. And that's really it. Unless people have questions and they've got something that they want to go over, I have a bit of content prepared around, there's some digital marketing stuff. If anyone's interested in content marketing or some stats otherwise, if you're interested in just asking anything or learning a bit about the web, feel free to ask a question. I'll hang around for maybe another couple of minutes, and if people have questions, Beta Dev B has said, looks like out of the box option is the best. Yeah, so really it depends how much effort that you want to go through and pain. I generally find that the out of the box solutions are the quickest and the fastest. You can get online instantly. Get a professional looking website. Someone's already worked on the theme, someone already knows, has professionally designed the user interface. As you can see here, it's very consistent. So you have a send message button, which is probably what you want most of your customers to doing, so that's the first thing they see. If they're coming through and they're looking to actually book one of your services, they'll likely land on one of these pages where their eyes are driven to one action button, which is check dates and book. So these themes are already optimized for user interaction. You don't really have to mess around with anything. As you saw, I didn't have to do any kind of downloading, any kind of plugin, no code changes. You can go in, and if you want to play around with the colors yourself, this is where you connect a domain. You can go in and you can go and edit these colors yourself if you kind of have your own logo and your own color scheme that you want to apply to one of these themes. So that's about all I have for guys. Oh, okay. So maybe a little bit about selling tickets. So you have a few options with the tickets. Most people are wanting to offer free or paid. So the main option here is free or paid. You have categories. As a buyer, I want to buy a ticket. Okay. So what happens as a buyer, I'll do this from a buyer's point of view. So I'm going to go in and say book this ticket. This is check dates and book. it comes up with the dates. So if you've selected multiple dates or reoccurring events, then you can go in there and you can choose which date of the event that you want. Obviously for this one I've just set up one date, so I'll click on that one. And there's also a remind me function. So if the customer actually wants to set a reminder and say, hey, remind me when this is getting closer, this allows you to kind of re-engage with your customers if they didn't actually purchase the first time. Choose the address. So if you're running multiple events across multiple addresses, or you're doing a home call, this is where the customer will either choose the address, obviously I've only put one in here, or they will enter their own details. If you're doing a house call, the radius will actually show up around where you've set your location, and to be the radius of the kilometers. Now on the final step, I've actually just got plugins turned off. So to prevent spam and to prevent people flooding your thing who are not genuine users, we actually get the people to sign in when going on your website. So I will jump on here. I'll just sign in outside. Okay, so as you can see now, I'm actually signed in as a different user. This is from the buyer's perspective. So I've signed in, and then I can just go through and I can finish the form here. And that'll be a booking. So this is where they get the detail. If they want to add multiple tickets, they can add their quantity here, depending on your maximum amount of tickets that you've set up. They simply go through, enter their credit card details, and press submit, which is this little button down here. Then once they're in there, they can actually go into my bookings. This person hasn't made any bookings yet. I wonder if they've made purchases. No. But this is where they come up. So they'll get an email just before the event occurs. As a buyer, they'll actually see it in their calendar, and they'll get a notification saying, hey, you've booked this. Alright, it doesn't look like there's any more questions. If anyone wants to reach out, I'm available on Sean at ApointB.com. That's SHAUN at ApointB.com. If anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out at any time. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click the little notification icon so that you know when releasing new videos and new content. That's about all. Have a good night, guys, and hopefully you got something out of it. All the best.